A reunion.
Yeah, David Mitten. I was the chairman of the reunion. I would like to mention how it actually started. It was about 2 years before the actual reunion. I invited Ken Banks and John Jeffries. I brought them to my Rotary Club as guest speakers, and they were very good guest speakers. And we were hanging around after, and one of them said,
"Wasn't it too bad that there'd never be another one?" And to that I said, "Well, why not?" And we just, really, that's where it all started. And there really wasn't any reason why not. The town, his first response to why not was, "Well, there's no town anymore." I said, "Yeah, but the people still live there, and we can hold a party and a reunion if we wish." So we did.
From that moment on, it was reunion.
And I worked in Kitchener, and the only people I kind of knew were the people in the neighborhood. I had the first pool, and of course I got to know a lot of the neighbors. But the point being is I didn't know there were so many people in Hespeler, because I didn't know anybody other than on Hahn Avenue. And when I was asked to become a volunteer, Jim Wilson called me and said, "We're putting this reunion together." I said, "Oh, what's that all about?" So he said, "Well, this is what we're doing, and you like to barbecue, Big John," and said, would you like to come along and maybe you just cook sausages and hamburgers?" I said, "That's a great idea." So I said, "Yeah, I'm with you." So I start going into this meeting, and I'm amazed. I had just retired, and so I had all kinds of time on my hands. And I was probably looking for something to do, and lo and behold, it fell in my lap. So I get into the meetings, and I meet these people. I knew Larry because he was a postman at the business at the mall I managed here in Hespeler. But I didn't know a soul other than Jim Wilson. And then all of a sudden I started meeting these people, and I sat in these meetings, and I said, this is just what I want to do. And it started me on my role of volunteering, which I've done for the last, 25 years. This is why we're here today. But we needed volunteers, and we didn't have any difficulty. I mean, and David ran the best meeting I ever was in. I was in a lot of board meetings, but people wanted to come to this reunion and help. Like, we didn't have to ask twice.
I think it was because too that there hadn't been such a reunion in a long time, and everybody was just keyed up. At least the old Hesper people were really keyed up and wanted to do a big celebration. So I think that was part of it too. Yeah.
This affection for this committee hit me on the Friday night just before the hockey game. We all assembled, remember, in the middle of the ice, the reunion committee. And I remember walking in the doors and looking in, and we went by the dressing room where all the hockey players were. And I looked in, I didn't know anybody at that time. I didn't know the Frummies or that until I hit the Legion, right? But anyway, they're drinking beer, and I said, "Oh, this will be a good game." Then we go, and I look out into the ice and the people in the stands, and I started getting goosebumps. And then we walked on the carpet by the stage, and I almost started weeping and crying. I was just so happy and proud that this has all come together. And like you say, the hair went up on my back, And I just, it was amazing opportunity.
Harold Marco wasn't really on the reunion committee, but he gave us a very valuable piece of advice. And remember, he came with that package for fundraising, and it was excellent. And then the next time I saw him was the Friday night, Saturday night.
Saturday night.
I
Street
walk
dance.
up to hear the music right out here, and there's Harold. He says, "David, you look like you need a drink." Well, I wondered why he was wearing a trench coat.
Yeah.
So, and he opens up his trench coat. I was afraid it might be flashing, but on one side was all ice and you know, the glasses and all that sort of stuff, and maybe some of the hard stuff. And on this side was all kinds of different mixes, you know, and they were all in tiny little bottles. Anyway, it must have taken, and someone had sewn in little pockets for all these things.
That's one thing that in '96 the police kind of turned an eye to all that. Like, everybody knew that people were drinking. People were walking down the street with coolers, and you know,
But no real
for
trouble.
the most part, they turned a deaf ear and a blind eye, and unless you were getting out of hand.
And we'd forgotten about the cleanup.
I
didn't.
didn't forget.
Oh, didn't you?
4 o'clock in the morning, I was on the phone to the city.
Yeah.
Get the street
I had the
sweeper.
guys come over with the street sweeper.
That was a brilliant move.
We had to get people off the street before
Well,
the sweeper would come
was
in.
it Colin Lusty or who was
His brother,
Yeah,
Colin's brother.
you got him. You woke him up around 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or something.
Jeez.
So you said just sweep everything to the curb,
Yeah.
and he'll suck it up. And then somebody said, one of the cops said, "What are you going to do with these people standing here?"
Suck that out.
So we went up to the what's his name? The street sweep.
Keith Lusty.
Keith Lusty. He said, "What am I going to do with those people?" I said, "Just go really slow, just straight at them."
Yeah.
And they all got out of the way.
Yeah, nobody wanted to go home. They didn't want that night to end. It was just 2 o'clock in the morning. They didn't even want the music to end.
Yeah.
Like we had to close the music down because we had a bylaw exemption for noise bylaw, but it only ran until 2 a.m. and we had to shut the stage down. But they didn't want anybody to leave. Like it.
And I couldn't get a beer anywhere, so I walked down to the bowling alley,
Yep.
and there was no lineup. And I walked in the store and I said, you know, "Pete, give me 6 beer right now." And my wife was with me, so she might have a half a beer. So I got a fistful of beer, and by the time I turned around, there was a lineup going out his door.
They saw you going.
And
They found out where you were.
Pete, the owner of the Playfair Bowl, he said it was his best day ever for alcohol consumption, obviously, and in turn, in the amount of money he made. But I must have swallowed down 4 beer, and then I went straight home because I was there at 5 in the morning with the vendors on the main street. But I missed all the excitement at the.
One of the things with the entertainment on the stage out here was had to come up with 13 hours of music with no budget. So I ended up putting together a band called the Senior Ramblers. which was everybody in town that I knew that played an instrument that was elderly. Eldon Gilkinson was the main, after I got Eldon sold on the idea, he was the guy that reached out. He got Mrs. Smiley,
Lyle Pryor was in that, wasn't
God,
Pryor, Lyle.
yeah, Lyle Pryor, Art LaFrance, you name it, anybody could play an instrument. And they blew them away on the stage out here. So I said to Eldon when we were talking about this, Eldon plays harmonica. And I said, do you know anybody else that plays harmonica? Well, I guess most of them can play harmonica. So we put a harmonica band out there called the Happy Harmonicas.
Gonna go to Washington, place I never have gone before.
45 minutes of harmonic music and the people were just screaming. I'd never seen anything like that.
My grandfather was in that band, and
Yeah.
when they got word that they were going to play down here, it was like the best thing that ever happened to them in the world. It was phenomenal. Yeah. Bob Chard from Preston, my grandfather, and they had the red kind of navy
Red
sort of
shirts,
shirts
yeah.
with a little bow tie, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah, it just blew them away. And all of the people came, all the family members came.
Yeah.
All the kids, all the grandkids, all the great-grandkids, and the place was just packed.
Yeah.
It was jammed.
Saved a
Did
lot,
we
saved a lot of
figure-
money.
We're at the reunion in that 4-day period. Was it 50?
50,000 plus. I know some of the figures in the newspaper clippings that we have here in the files estimated the crowd at up to 100,000
Yeah,
over the
yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
And-
Over the whole 3 days.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was hard to even manage that because you had such a large crowd Friday and different events. You had so many different people.
Yeah, it's
And there
such-
was stuff
so many-
going on at the same time,
Yeah.
all over town.
So many venues.
Yeah, all over town.
On Saturday, the street dance, there had to be 10,000 people
The
down there on Main
Legion,
Street.
the Legion was running breakfasts up there
Yeah.
Friday morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. The church services, all of the churches had church service for members and guests on Sunday mornings. And after the weekend was over, there was so many people saying, oh, we should do this every year. So in '97, we started the Forbes Park Music Festival as a one-day event just to earmark that weekend, the first Saturday in July. Plus, we didn't want to try to recreate the whole reunion, but we wanted to keep it on a small scale. So the musical entertainment part of it started in '97 and ran up until COVID hit, which killed it 2 years ago. But it'll come back. And if you look at the crowd that shows up in Forbes Park for that festival, it's the same thing as we had for the reunion. They're there to have a good time, they're there to party, they're there to enjoy themselves, and I think it'll come back. And if we do another reunion, I swear it'll be as big as the last one.
But since we're all here, why don't we agree to be on the next committee?
There you go, Jack. Jack Powell, right there.
There you go.
No,
Channeling Jack.
Jack would have said, you agree.
Yeah, you're gonna be the chairman.
committee.
Before we talk about that, let's talk about other things that our reunion committee did over the years. And Larry mentioned it earlier about the money. Each committee, or each reunion committee, actually put money back into the community, and we were driving force behind the Jacob Hesper Landing, signage, stuff like that. The town hall, or the post office clock.
Information boards on the main street.
Yeah,
down
all these
here.
information boards, that founder's plaque downtown here
Yeah.
at the Cenotaph. So we actually put money back into the town to
In a big way.
further our cause, I guess, in the long run, but yeah.
I don't know anything about the clock. What about the clock? Was it
Well, that
broken or was it?
Funds, that was through funds really indirectly through the reunions.
In '93, when Canada Post Corporation sold the town hall, they took the master clock, which drove the slave clock on the top of the building. When they took the master clock out, of course, it stopped at 12 o'clock.
Something like that.
And it stayed 12 o'clock from '93 until
We
a
rejuvenated
year or
it.
two ago. And funds that we raised through the reunion went into putting that clock back together and
We had
buying new
Marty
guts
Lachance
for
here,
it
yeah.
and redoing it all,
Yeah.
lighting and the whole bit, eh? So after the '96 reunion was we took money and put aside in an account to grow for the next reunion. And instead of being on a 20-year track, we put it on a 10-year track because the feeling amongst the committee members was that, on a 20-year track, you might only attend maybe 3 or 4 in your whole lifetime, including when you were a kid to the time you die. 3, maybe 4 at the most. So by making it every 10 years, it would give the opportunity for people to come back every 10 years and reconnect.
And so many memories. I don't think there's a week that goes by I don't think about the reunion. And